Okay, so even if I go into my tower knowledge on my main, right, and I've been playing this account for, what, 75 days? You can see I only have the 2 entry-level skills learned. And the only reason I have these learned is because these are, you have to do the 2 starter skills to advance in your chapters, which are like your beginning chapters that go up to, I think it's like 15 or 16. So that's the only reason I've done those. But everything else, I haven't done it. And to be fair, no one really should, right? So as, like, while you're playing, you really should not be investing into any of these, because it's just a waste of purple gems, right? Your purple gems are more valuable in upgrading your skills for your immortals, and that's not just in your primary march. That's also eventually when you want to get to your additional marches as well. That's really probably the most important thing. The skills are great, and some of them are really good, but really once you get to level 31, or once you get your tower knowledge, I should say, specifically to 31, right? That's when you start unlocking some of right, the epic skills. But I mean, just look at that. I have to pay 20k purple gems just to unlock that. There's a lot more value, if I'm going. There's a lot more value if I'm going and upgrading my immortal skill, right, than spending 20k on that. Right, the amount I would spend on, like, what is it? It's 1,000 purple gems per every 10 epic. So let's see here. So that means that, what, 20k? That puts me at 200 epic, right? So, like, let's just say,
I think it's 1k per 5.
whatever.
Let me quickly check.
I tried. Yeah, let me see here. So what's that? What's that? Someone pinned that thing. What's that thing somebody pinned of
Oh
Oh,
no, it's 5 for 500. I was wrong.
yeah. Well, but I mean, it's 500 for 5, but it's 1,000 for 10. So essentially, you'll get 200 epic immortal shards for 20k. But somebody put a chart out about how much it costs per each, and I can't. Oh, here it is. Okay, asked it. So if you look at the epics, right, it's 900 total to excuse me, to max out your epic. So if you take 200, right, so outside of the unlock, right, and again, you can't control that, right, so you can really only go off of, because you're going to unlock from Hall of Immortals, and then if you get any additional shards elsewhere, but you can't actually farm epic shards in the market, only elite and below. So let's count 200 from 1 star. So it's 30 for 1 star, 60 for 2, that puts us at 90, 180, which is plus 90 for 3 star, that'll put us at 180. So you get to about 3 and maybe a quarter stars off of 20k 20k purple shards, is what you'll have your epic to. But keep in mind that your skills, right, that you're oh sorry, why am I going here? Your skills that you're unlocking from the Tower of Knowledge, right, have 7 levels to them as well. So not only are you having to factor in, right, so that's where you have to really look at your value on, right, I'm already getting better value from maxing out my immortal skills, because I'm going to get my epic immortal to 3 and a quarter stars compared to using the same amount of purple gems to unlock an epic skill where I'm only going to be at level 1. So that's why I tell people, right, there's a lot better value in maxing out your immortal skills first, and then once you get your marches maxed in your ideal setting, and then you start getting your leftover purple gems, right, or your universal immortal shards, right, then you can start investing into TOK. Now that is specifically for more free to play low spender. If you're mid to high spender, then yeah, you might have more purple gems available to you. You might be willing to invest a little more because you can spend green gems on immortal shards in the market. So you might have more flexibility because you have more resources available if you're spending a little more money, right? But if you're free to play low spend, then that is always the recommendation, is max out your immortal skills first. Then once you do that for all of your marches, right, then go ahead. And then you can invest in TOK. That's what I'm doing, at least to play the long game out. Again, people can do whatever they want. That's just my recommendation based on if you're really looking to try and get max value. Amer Ilif, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Also, guys, we're using the common room chat, so just feel free if you're looking to. Gosh, what was I going to say? If you can't talk but you want to type and ask a question, you're more than welcome to. He has always said. Well, yeah, it's always been 31 is the level really, but to be honest, it's mainly. I mean, there are good elite skills too. Don't get me wrong. There are some good skills that are not epic ones, but again, it's just not good value, right? That's at the end of the day. If you're looking to get good return on investment, that's how you really want to invest, right? And again, as we've said, that's specifically for like free to play, low spend. What am I doing here on this account?
What about even like standard green skills? Like, would you just max them?
I'll be honest. I just wouldn't waste.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, I just think it's a waste. Like just flat out. I think spending any purple gems, on any tower knowledge skills before you have like just to take into account, right? Like I've been playing this account probably 8 to 10 hours a day since day one. I think we're on, with the exception of yesterday, after I made my announcement. But yeah, for our new restart project. So, but for that, let me see what the age is. Ah, there he is. Thanks, Power. You can hear my luscious voice now. Sono, what's up? Symmetrical, what's up? Welcome. So, oh God, what are we at? Where's S8? Jeez, I can't even figure these things out. Okay, cool. So we're at what, 76 days? So for 75 days, we've been doing, yeah, where am I at? I'm at like, what, 460? Let me see here. Yeah, I'm almost 460K, right? And in all that time, right, I've been playing the account actively, participated in every event. I've maxed out every event I could. And even at that point, right, and even saving, like min-maxing my market. Now, the difference is, right, and you can take this with somewhat of a grain of salt because it just depends on how you want to play the market out. Right, so for me, I've done, like when I go in the market, and I've talked about this in a previous video, but when I do stuff in the market, I specifically am just purchasing every Epic Immortal, right? Oh, Potatoes, like you got rid of Lancey Poo? Yeah, man. Luscious Locks Lance, dude. I probably could still keep him in the lineup, but yeah, I ended up finally starring up Harold. I think I had him at 3 or 4 when I replaced. So, yeah, dude, but Luscious Locks Lance, man, he is so good. I still think he's a little underrated, but I think he's good enough to work in your comp early game until you can get a good transition. But like I said, in the market, right, for me, what I do, which is why I have so many market orders, because like there's 2 ways to look at how you want to play the market out, which is one, and this is probably what most people do, and I say this because this is what I did as well in the beginning. What most people will do is, like, let's say they're working on, just to keep it super simple, let's say they're working on like a basic water comp, and they want, and let's just say they haven't spent any money. So you're probably going to run someone like Bryn, you'll run Helen, you'll probably run Lance, and then gosh, like Tomoe goes in or something like that, right? Like just as an example. So what most players will do is they'll look at who comes up in the market, and if none of those 4 immortals are coming up in the market, they'll refresh, and they'll just keep doing that and doing that over time. Leroy, what's up? And so because of that, you're gonna burn through more market orders, more of your market refresh scrolls or your market orders, than you are when it comes to the value that you're going to get from it as far as long run. Now, that's not to say that's a bad way to approach how you're going to utilize your market orders. Right, but for me, the thing is let's just say you keep doing that over time. Eventually what will happen is you're going to run out of market orders. Right, and I know this because this has happened to me when I first started playing. It also comes down, this happens to pretty much everyone. If you're just fishing for a select group of immortals, yeah, sure, of course, you're going to get max value as far as how many of the recycles will pop up for those immortals over time. But you will eventually run out, and then you're just going to be slowly hitting your refreshes when they come up, and then using more orders when they come up as well. So my strategy overall is, what I'll do is, again, I'll still do like the market order growth. I don't necessarily, it's not a glitch, but a trick, right? Where you're, like I'll sit here and buy these guys, even though like these ones that are purple, even though I'm not going to use them, and then I'll just do a full refresh in the alchemy lab, and then I'll use a refresh and go. But every time I get an epic immortal for purple, I'll always buy. And for me, that's really allowing to kind of play out the long game a little bit better, at least I think, because then I'm basically slow upgrading, right? Which is why, for example, Yoshi, Harold, and Merlin, right, are where they're at right now. Is because I haven't been selectively fishing for them in the market. I've also been upgrading Hippa. You can see I've been upgrading Peter, Hannibal, right? My Cleo is literally almost maxed. I don't know where she's at right now. What I need 110 more. So right, but this is the thing. Once you get this is the kicker, right? Which is that once you get an immortal to max skill, then anytime you get their shards, you're immediately getting 100% return, right? Because you don't need to reinvest them back into that immortal, which means now you're getting more purple shards to work with in the market. So right, I just think there's better long-term benefit doing it that way. And then in addition, I'm preparing my second, third, and fourth marches as well for the long game. Once I eventually max level and get max equipment for my primary, so the way I look at it is it just allows for me to start working on my second, third, and fourth marches sooner than if I wasn't doing it that way, right? And again, that's really approaching the game from more like free-to-play, low spend. So. But yeah, Toxic, what's up? Welcome. So yeah, if that makes sense. Again, it's really up to each player on how they want to approach it, right? You don't have to do it the way I do it. That's just my long-term plan for how I'm approaching it. And so far, it's been working out really well. So I mean, I like it for what I'm doing. But again, some people might want to just invest everything they have into their primary. Can I make a gold guide? Yeah, well, Potato, so I have a gold video out on my channel. It's probably like 2 or 3 months old, but it's still relevant. Everything, well, I guess with the exception of not talking about contention or relics. So I probably do need to make an updated one, because that's probably like the next biggest one. But I do have one that talks about initially all the ways you can acquire gold in the game. At least at the time when I made it for what was available. Yes, you too. Yeah, no, I'll definitely make another one. So because there are a few more things that like contention relics and other things as well.
In one of your videos that I just watched, you were basically ranking out the elements. So like I think you said fire was probably number one down. It looks like Shadow has the potential to be pretty strong, but I didn't see you really talk about Shadow or Holy.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So the reason why we didn't talk about Shadow or Holy is just because you can't really build full comps with them yet, just because there's not enough that are out. In addition to that, it's just that, like for example, there's no Holy Dragon. You can only really get the Shadow Dragon if you're VIP 15, right? So there's just multiple pieces of the Shadow and Holy comps that are just not available. Now again, in that video, I did talk about how, like, example, someone like a Gilgamesh or an Elizabeth Bathory, right? These are examples of, flex pick immortals that you can work into specific comp bases, depending on how you wanted to utilize them with Tower of Knowledge skill customizations. You can do something like that. But again, there's just not enough of them right now. Like there's one Shadow and one Holy Immortal that's being teased in the gallery, but they haven't been released yet, right? And if you factor in that they released, or that they took away Solomon and put in, who is this, Edward, right? Like, sure, yeah, they did come out with a new Immortal, but I just don't really count that as like an addition, because they had to subtract one and then they added one, right? So you kind of, or they swapped it, so you didn't really go up or down. But anyway, so yeah, I think, probably in the next update or two, I would imagine we'll probably see another Immortal or two come out. So like I said, they have these things prepped. I think a lot of what it's coming down to is that they're probably just trying to space out the timeline for when they're releasing, kind of bigger or newer things, whether it be Immortals or new features, right? So I think so far the pace is great. I mean, I think a lot of people have to keep in mind the game's only been out 2 months, right, for global release. And within that time so far, even if you're just looking at the last update, right? We made a suggestion video for features and ideas, and quite a few of those things after we made that video were later implemented in the game. And so I think it's great to see that they are listening to the community. They are taking, the information that we're putting out there seriously. And I can tell you that I have a good relationship with the IK team, at least for the people that I speak to. And I think along with some of the other content creators. And, again, even though it's not like I'm just going to suggest them something and they're going to be like, yeah, put it in, that probably won't happen. But I think the great thing that we can do as a community is to, write out good ideas, right? That aren't just make your game better, add more immortals, Elite Brick Squad 420, whatever you want to say, right? Because a lot of times you'll get feedback that is in that form, right? Where people are suggesting things, but it's not really the most well written, right? Or they don't really have a good explanation of how that feature would be implemented. What are the pros and cons of it? What's the ideal outlook for how is it going to act and respond in game? And that's really what developers want to hear, right? They want you to really break down a feature for them and explain why it's good, what the benefits are of it, so they can better, download that information, right, and understand it, and then implement it. I think far too often, right, you'll just have people that are like, your game sucks, add more immortals. Like that doesn't do anything, right? A dev can't do anything with that. But I think the good thing that we've been doing, like we did in our last feedback and suggestion video, is it was all community sourced. So like I have a channel in my Discord that is specifically for people to submit suggestions and feedback. And then what I'll do is I'll copy and paste all of that, and then I'll format it into like a Google Doc, right? So I'll format it into like a nice outline. I'll simplify some of the wording on it, so it's a little more straightforward and easier, so it's not like a ginormous wall of text. And then on top of that, I'll make a video on it, right? And then I'll send the doc to the team, and I'll say, hey, here's our monthly community feedback and suggestions document, along with a video, right, that we've done. And so far, when we did our first round, right, we noticed that Lexa, Shadow, what's up, my boys? Gilgamesh, what's up? We noticed that the team took a lot, and Shadow was even telling me when we were talking about it. I think we were talking about it yesterday. I was telling him, yeah, it was great. There was like a few features that they added in, and he was telling me, no, it was more than a few features when they took it in from the feedback. So I think, so far, we're on the right pace. I think a lot of people feel like there's just not enough content out. Part of me does understand, and I see that, but on the other side of it, I also realize that, having some form of realistic expectations, I think the game is just still young, right? They're not trying to blast out the gate with everything they have, and they're trying to space it out for longevity, and I understand that. So I see both sides of it, really. I think really it's just a matter of time and patience. I mean, there's a lot of things they're working on. I mean, there's 3 things they've teased at us already, which is, 1, they've teased SVS they're working on, they've teased an Alliance vs. Alliance feature now, and they've also teased some kind of a post-World Heart, post-Chronicle, kingdom-wide event, right? So there's 3 big things right now that have been talked about, but we just haven't got an update on them yet, right? And in my opinion, I just think it's a matter of time. So let me see. Shadow, good morning.
Good morning.
Leak your knowledge. Well, it's not really insider info. It used to be insider info. Before people all of these things they've talked about. They've whispered publicly somewhere. It's just not everyone might have seen the posts. So yeah, I'm not one to leak information that they give me. Even though I do get some information, but I think it's a matter of respect, right? It's professional courtesy. If you get information, you don't need to sit there and talk about it, until it's publicly released. And I think that's just a good way how you keep good relationships. You said FB. Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, a lot of the stuff's on Facebook.
They say snitches don't get content.
Wait, what was that?
Don't get content.
Don't get content. Yeah, man. Stitches get stitches, and no content. That's
Not
good.
that.
That's a good point. So, yeah, man. Yeah, hopefully here in about an hour, I think S28 is going to release. If they're staying on board with the 3-day release, then it should. Oh, you know what? I didn't even check if it's been prepped. Let me see. I think it has, though. It wouldn't make any sense if it hasn't.
Like, when's the last time you checked? I haven't popped on there in a while.
Man, I checked that like 2 days ago. Let me see. Let's take a look here. If S28 is being... Oh, yeah. Wow. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Oh, my God. 33, 34, 35, 34. Damn. Dude, this is the most amount of new server preps that I've seen. Wow.
If it's more than 5, then it's the most I've ever done.
Yeah, that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, they have 9 server preps. Damn. That's wild. Okay.
That means business is good. That's
Business.
a good.
Yeah, man. I've never seen that many. Wow, that's awesome.
Very good sign for us in for the game. So good.
Wow, man. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Now I just have to get this account to 11, and then we'll wait. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out right now, Shadow. Like I'm doing a little bit of research on the jumper stuff because I'm trying to figure out. So my buddy Manic was helping me out with this yesterday, but I'm trying to figure out. So I'm trying to weigh if it's better to start a jump account on a new server just because of the window's a lot lower now, right? It's at like a day. I think it's around 24 to 30 hours. We were saying 24 to 28 hours, right until you hit Chronicle 3. So, you know, it's a lot faster than it was back when we were playing on SA and in S6, where it was like 2.5, 3.5 days, depending on how long it would take. But I think with that, I guess what we're trying to weigh out is it better just to start in an old server that has the most amount of Chronicles completed, and then you go into the faction that has the additional ones as well, and then you basically just get a high boost on green gems and resources, so you can boost VIP higher earlier, and then you go into an older server that hopefully is, you know, not like constant civil war or anything. So obviously avoid S5. Anyone who's in S5, I'm sorry, I still love you, but avoid that, and then, you know, go into an old server so you get all these resources, right? And then you get to boost a little bit early while you're hanging out at 8 at Castle 8, or do you go into a new server and ride that out, and then try and get into a top alliance, stay in there as long as you can, and then try and get some purchases and buys from it, but the kicker is you probably won't be in the server long enough for all the Chronicles to complete, right, by the time you then go in to your new server. And then the other side of it is what happens. The one thing we haven't tested is what happens if you join a server. I guess you could actually test that out. I was going to say, what happens if you join a server and for Chronicles 13, 16, and 19, which are the Contention of Relics ones, well, yeah, no, they are. They're the province ones. And then what would happen if you swapped factions? Would you double up on those rewards, right? Like if you started green, but then you went blue in the new server because blue then won those Contention of Relics, right? I wonder if you could double up on those Chronicles. I don't know if anyone's tested that yet. So, anyway, it's just an idea. So, but a part of me feels like I think it's still better to start in an older server just because you'll get that initial super big boost of all those green gems from Chronicles, and then all the other resource packs as well that you can immediately invest into your VIP, maybe even hit VIP 6 early on, and then you're just farming just every day those Philo stones, right? And then you just have to make sure you get into, because it's not going to take a while, right, to max your buildings at 8. But I guess that's where the weighing of it is do you go into a new server where you know you're going to get the max helps immediately, right? So you're going to get all your stuff to 8 ASAP, but you're going to sacrifice getting the Chronicle achievements, or do you go into an old server, get the Chronicle achievements, and then just try and get into an alliance that has some helps? So I don't know. That's the weighing thought. Seth Ivana, what's up?
O la carne con chile.
Potato Farmer, what's up? So nice to see 2 potatoes.
Hello. Sorry, I forgot to mute my. It's okay.
Oh no, you're fine.
How's everybody?
I see Lost Dragon. You said.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm trying to create a jump account in. I think I will create a jump account on S28. I'm not sure about it, but I think I will do that to have 2 accounts.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. No, that could work. So I just, you said, is this good? 500 dragon shards for 20 bucks. Dun, 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 dun. What did you get? 500k gold, dragon chest keys. You get 2,300 gems plus 2,300 VIP. So you're getting 4,600 VIP for 20 bucks plus 500 gems. What's the gem shop for 20? Yeah, it's 46 as well. Yeah, no, I would say that's good value. So, because just from getting the $20 gem chest on your first purchase, you'll get 4,600 green gems. So if you're planning to like just invest that all into VIP, then yeah, I would say that's good value because everything else you're getting beyond that is worth it. Otherwise, you'd have to try to compare like a $20 bundle. Oh, I can't. So the only bundle you could probably compare it to would be this one. And what, that's 1,700, 17. Yeah, I would say that probably scales appropriately based on what the green is. The difference is that in this one you're just getting XP scrolls. So yeah, I mean, I would say if you, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want. I mean, like I said, I think it's a good value bundle. If you're comparing the baseline with a $20 gem pack. And you're specifically doing it because you want to try and level up your dragons a little bit more, then yeah, I would say the pack is okay. Yeah. Octady, what's up? Welcome. Eagle, what's up? Welcome. Yeah, again, guys, if you're just joining, we're just hanging out and playing. Just playing my new S27 account. I'm just leveling it up to 11. And if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to ask via voice. Also, we're talking in the common room chat. So, feel free if, you want to ask something. You are more than welcome to. So, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, gnomes. That's what I was doing. Oh, that's what I forgot, to take the garrison off. Withdraw. Fantastic. $4.99, $9.99. Yeah, everything you buy it out. 2K crystals. Yeah, I think the dragon bundles are okay. I'm just not sure how they scale. I think that the 21 I thought was a pretty good value though. I got some people messaging me. Okay, fam. Which was going into alliance if only Wales started. Yeah. Oh, Shep, did you hear about this? Someone told me that there was. Oh, dude. So I heard this. Someone was telling me that there's a. God, who was it? That there's like a jumper group that's in S2 in S2, and they're all like they're like mid 20s or something like that. And they were waiting. They're like farming. I guess they're farming space teleports. And someone was telling me that they all wanted to come to S8 with like their level 20, mid-level 20 accounts to start Havoc.
Huh.
Yeah, someone told me that yesterday. They're like, yeah. Oh, it was Bloke. It was Toy Bloke. That's who it was. Yeah, he told me he has an account there, and I guess he was talking to some people, and that's what they were saying with their group. It's a what's up, welcome. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's going great until last Wales. Yeah, man, it happens. Yeah, we are preparing a new Project. Information. Yeah, man, yeah. I've already had... Yeah, there's already a bunch of people that have reached out that wanna... and that are probably gonna leave S8 after that new rule kicks in. Yo, also, I didn't tell you, dude, they started backpedaling the rule now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just so funny how things happen. Pamby, what's up? HDWay, what's up? So they, God, what was it? They said, oh, it was in the mail, that Gibbles. Also, I don't know, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's so funny, like, when you're playing in a server for a while, and you have people that are there, but they never, like, step up to do more work until something drastic happens, and then they step up to actually do more work. Have you noticed that, like, in any of the games you've played?
always.
Yeah. Dude, it's...
Or they have an opinion all of a sudden, like where they never had one before.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like now that I announced that I'm leaving and I'm starting a new project up, now I'm starting to see more people talk in the chats. Like Gibbles finally sent like his first alliance mail. That, like, I'm sorry, his second or third alliance mail, but like he hadn't sent one in like over a month or two. It's just, I don't know, man. It's funny. The human brain is hilarious, I think, at times. Anyways, on a small note, so yeah, so like that's what happened. Oh, sorry, I was talking about the backpedaling. So you remember when I was telling you that they wanted to change the rule just to have it be like one day just open server free for all?
Right.
So now they're backpedaling it to, oh god, where's the mail? Here's the mail. So now they're backpedaling it to, now they're gonna do it on day 2. And, you know, now you can't attack farmers, which obviously people are going to attack farmers. And then they added this tier list, right? So it's like castles like 0 through 19 or 1 through 19 are only allowed to attack each other, 20 through 29, 30 through 39, and then the castle 40s can attack 35 and up. First off, dude, too many rules. Too many rules. Already, there's like 3 rules already in here, and it's like, it's going to be, like, I think it's good in theory. Because the tier thing was something that someone else suggested, but the challenge still is that they're opening up the entire map, and it's like,
And I mean, they can be adjusted a little bit as well, but like you know how I feel about that. Like that would be really good if a lot of these people played with each other for a long time, and the server was completely stable, like we talked about yesterday.
Oh yeah.
That stuff works because I've seen it and I've done it. So like, and it's consistent. And I still do it in other games. So, like, that will work, but, like, we're talking... This is way too early to be doing that over there. Way too early.
Yeah, man. I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. So...
It's unstable enough over there.
Yeah. But this is the thing. It's like, you know, I think that the thing is because most of the players... right, have really only been doing like the managing of like their alliances, and I think that's the other thing too as well, is that is when you look at it like that, you know, none of them have been doing any kind of like kingdom or server level managing, and so they, you know, most of the time when complaints come through, or if you're trying to resolve issues, most of the time it's usually me. Right, or it's maybe some officers in some of the alliances that are, qualming. But that's the thing, is that, you know, most of them really haven't, like, even I would get messaged in game about stuff from other alliances, and so now that I'm not gonna be doing anything there anymore, now when stuff starts happening, right, or if people get hit, people are constantly complaining or sending screenshots all over the place. It'll be interesting to see how long they last. So, it's gonna be fun. Anyways, though, on a side note, Axel, what's up? Welcome. On a side note, yeah, man, it's just sad. But you know, you win some, you lose some. In the traumatic sense of it, I guess. Hard to narrow down PvP to only a few rules. No, I mean, it's easy. Like, you know, it's how we've been doing it in S8 forever. We tell people you can only PvP in the Forbidden Zone. Easy, one rule. It's like, it's straightforward. It can't be misinterpreted. Yeah, the challenge is when you start adding on multiple rules to PvP stuff, but more specifically, when you start adding on multiple rules to PvP or just any kill events, right, early on in a kingdom's life. I think to Shadow's point, because the game is so new, if you were to come out and you're coming out with like 4 or 5 rules for your KE, what you have to, like, the thing is, it's not about looking at how many or how few rules they are. It's about how is that information going to be disseminated to every player in your server, right? Because you have to understand, it's literally a logistical effort that you have to take on. It's not just writing the rules up and does it sound good. It's how easy is it to disperse that information for every player in your server to understand it, to read it, and then to actually follow it. It takes a big effort, mainly because there is no King's Mail in the game, right? That would be something that would make it 100 times easier, right? And for people that have played Rock, or if you've played other games and you know what a King's Mail is, right, you're like, yeah, man, that's a bomb feature, boss. We should add that. Trust me, it's going to be something in my next suggestion video. But in short, what it is it's just an ability for the king or queen to just send a mail out to every player in the server, right? That is something that I cannot tell you how undervalued that is in Kingdom Builders. Like, that is a must that needs to be added, because it will make things like that easier. But in the meantime, because that's not available, you now have to make sure that you're writing up a templated message that can either be copy-pasted by all of the alliance leaders, and then you have to hope that every alliance leader is going to send an alliance mail out. In addition to that, you then have to hope that players are going to take the initiative, whether it's leaders or officers, to copy and paste those messages into your kingdom chat and then your world chat consistently, 24 hours before, and then during, and then while the kill event is going on. And then on top of that, which is a third thing, are all your alliances going to put up markers, right? Or are they going to update their alliance announcement boards when those things are happening, right? Like, what extra steps are they taking to ensure that they are advertising that information everywhere and anywhere as often as possible? I can tell you that I was the only one who did that, right? Like, so just to give an example for S8, right? Like, I was the only one who consistently posted Kingdom Chat and World Chat messages throughout the kill event and leading up to the kill event. Now, there were a few others that did some one-time posts, but I was the only person that I ever saw who consistently posted it all the time. So when you take that away, and now you're hoping that all these other people are going to step up when they weren't really stepping up before someone was in that position, it's almost like they're kind of getting this short burst of energy because something has changed and they feel like this sense of urgency, like they need to step up to try and fill in this void. And that's typically what happens, I think, at times in life, and then in these kinds of situations where you have someone that steps down. But how long are they going to sustain that, right? Is always the big question. And I think probably the main thing that's always going to come up, which is, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic that there are other people that are stepping up, and I'm sure that can go for any server or kingdom, right? But how long are they going to do it? How consistent are they going to be? How are they going to be able to deal with the pressure of when things aren't going how they hope? And that's the big thing, right? I mean, I think S8 is still a great server overall, but I think the challenge is that the biggest challenge is that we promised people that were coming to S8 specifically that we weren't going to do a server-wide kill event, right? Like that was the attraction. That was the reason why a majority of people came to S8, because they were able to freely develop their accounts without having to worry about a server-wide kill event, right? They would never have to waste resources purchasing shields, right? Because they could use those resources they would use for shields and make better value buys from that, right? And the people that we had come with us to S8 knew this. So I think for me that's a little bit of the disappointment, is that when you find out that that we all came into a server with this goal, but then you have the majority of alliances that now don't want to do that anymore, and they're starting to throttle back some of the policies that we put in place. When that started happening, that was the moment I knew I needed to get out of Dodge. So, because one, these people basically lied, and then two, the fact that they're not upholding and they're so quick to change something, I think it just shows a little bit about their integrity and their overall viewpoints. And that's not to say that things can't change in a server down the road. But I personally just think, and I think to Shadow's point as well, I just think it's way too early to even consider doing things like that. But anyways, yeah, there's my tiny rant, if that is one. Shield, okay, you don't shield. Yeah, I think the challenge is that like when people talk about shielding or not shielding, right? It's like that's how you think, right? And the challenge is that when you're managing and running a kingdom, it's not just about what you think or what I think, right? It's about looking at what the majority of players have to do. What resources do they have to use? What actions do they have to take? And then you also have to factor in, again, them getting the information, them popping the shields at the appropriate times. Like, there's multiple steps to it beyond just, hey, you can shield or not shield, right? That's almost like saying it's my way or the highway kind of a thing. And a lot of times when people hear that, especially more so on your free-to-play and low-spend base, right, they might just be, I mean, honestly, they might not take that well. And, they might consider not staying or, or lowering their activity. I mean, like, there's players that I can already tell you, like, the thing you have to keep in mind is the majority of players that are in S8 were promised something. What they were promised was broken. Right, for the people that really understood what S8 was building. So it doesn't matter about shielding or not shielding. It's the fact that they were essentially lied to, in short, and they came to S8 with the promise of the way that it was being built, right? And thankfully it was, right, up until whenever the next kill event is going to happen, right? So we were successful on that front. But now there's going to be probably a good amount of people that are going to leave S8. Like, there's already been people talking in World Chat and Kingdom Chat saying, like, I didn't come to S8 to have an open server PvP event, right, or a kill event, because that was our selling point. Now, it's different if you're starting your server out, right? Like, and that, again, kind of goes back to Shadow's point. It's like, it's different if you're setting the standard early on in your server that this is how we're going to run things, right? Because then the expectation is already there. But I think that the other thing is that, like, us as humans, right, we don't necessarily respond super well to quick change, right? You kind of have to, like, break apart the change and hit it and give it to people in pieces, right? So they can, like, slowly get, mold to that, right, and transition to something like that. So when you're selling people on a certain way that a server's being built, and then you renege on that agreement, dude, of course you're going to have people upset. Of course people are going to consider leaving or stop playing, right? And to be honest, like, that's just not something I'm willing to stay, in S8 for. Because if I did, I feel like my integrity would be completely compromised at that point. So like I said, it's not really about shielding or not shielding. It's really about the bigger picture of it. Because don't get me wrong, buying a shield is fine. But for a free-to-play player, I would not want to waste resources on a shield if I do not have to, right? And that's the thing to think about, right? For someone who spends money, or for a free-to-play who may not care, even though the majority of free-to-plays are all about min-maxing. That's the whole point of being free-to-play. So if I'm min-maxing, and I have to buy, however, it's not just one shield, right? Like, you have to, where is it? God, where's the shop here? What do I have to go? Oh, God, how far down is it? Sorry, I guess it is one shield. Yeah, so, like, if they do it for a day, right, well, I should say this. There's two outcomes here. If your kill event is 2 days, then you have to buy 2. If your kill event's 1 day, then you have to buy 1. Right? Now, yeah, you can buy those from the shop, or you can go into, where is it? Line shop, and where is it? Oh, so it's only a 4-hour you can buy. Okay, so prime example, right? You can, so if you don't want to use green gems, which is a premium currency, then if you want to be able to shield for, again, I would say your average free-to-play player is probably not going to be on for 4 to 6 hours, right, straight. So they would probably have to buy 2 of these, which means that they would have to do it the day before and the day of, or just stock, or at least stock up 2 8 hours before. One for when they go to sleep, and then one for, whether it's a 4 or 8 hour, right? But they'll probably have to buy 2 minimum, which means they're going to waste these alliance credits when they could better save them up and utilize them on a more efficient buy. As an example, like building contracts or epic shards. And then let's say they're out of alliance credits, well then they have to use green gems, which is a premium currency. So like I said, like that's an extreme waste. If you asked any free-to-play player that is all about min-maxing, they would tell you that's a waste of resources. Now, again, keep in mind this is really only applying to servers that are built in a way where they're not just subjected to constant civil war, constant fighting. And that's not a lot of servers right now. Right, I can only speak for S8 because of how S8 was built. When I started the project, right, that's how we came into S8 with. So again, if you're in another server that has some form of like PvP organization or kill event control, then yeah. Avoiding KE, I use up all my resources, start big upgrades, and invest heavily in tech troop during my KE resource under the lootable amount. So yeah, I mean, again, those are things you can do, but keep in mind, you have to look at what your majority player base is. Your majority player base is not mid to high spenders. Your majority player base is like 95% of your player base, if not more, is free to play low spend. So you have to look at it from that perspective always. Which means that, and that doesn't mean to not take account in for other players as well, but that's your majority base. So when you're coming up with policies and rules and things like that, right, you have to factor heavily into what that base is. And sure, yes, they can do those things that you listed, Ask, but it still does not stop them from taking hits, right? And it also depends on how hard your server is going to go in kill event. Like a good example, right? So you're still going to take losses. You're still going to take dead. Your hospital's still going to get filled up, and you still will lose some resources. You might not lose a lot, but you're still going to lose some, right? So those are 3 things that are going to happen to every player, no matter how efficiently you prep, right? And that's if you get hit, of course, right? And that's not accounting for people that are obviously using shields, right? But the thing you have to think about now is that, and then here's another example, right? Let's say you do all of that. And let's say you burn all of your resources on big upgrades and things like that, right? And you do something like you invest something into your coin mint, right? Where you burn a bunch of resources. Because you're doing that, you're having to now go out of your way to unnecessarily invest resources in other places when you can't stockpile them and wait for your big upgrade to finish. So let's say your big upgrades finish, but then after the kill event is over, you've had to use so many resources and use them in different ways that you wouldn't normally have used them for, that by the time your big upgrades finish, you don't have enough resources to start the next big upgrades, right, if you have 2 or 3 queues going. Which means that now your overall progression is delayed. That's another element that hasn't been considered, right? So all of these things are factoring in. Now keep in mind, servers can be ran however they want, right? Not every server is going to be ran the same way. But if you're running a server a certain way, and you're now changing the foundation of how that server was built, to me that's the biggest challenge, right? That's the biggest problem, right? That's where your integrity, your word, means absolutely nothing to me. And I think that's the challenge. I think for S8 right now, is that's what a good amount of people are thinking. There's quite a few people that have already joined our Discord server after we've sent mails out letting people know what's happening in S8. And it's not like S8 is bad or anything, right? Because, the majority of the alliance leads, called for a vote on something, and they wanted to change it. And whereas, that's fine for them to do, right? If they want to suggest something or if they want to do a vote on something. But the fact is that, they had no respect for the way that the server was currently built. There wasn't any level of respect and loyalty for how the server was built from day one to get to the point that it's at now, right? It's almost like they let someone do all the work, and then they're just kind of like, okay, we're just going to change things up now and take over, right? And that's where the disappointment for me comes in, is because there was such a lack of respect and appreciation for what was built, in addition to everything else that we talked about, right? Which is why I'm not staying in S8 anymore. So, and I mean, Shadow can tell you. I mean, he runs families in multiple games, where he has that respect and that loyalty, from players, because they understand the bigger picture. And then in addition, right, you have limited people that are like making those final decisions. When I was playing Rise of Kingdoms, we had that in multiple projects I ran. Where it was myself and another that would always make final decisions, but we had a council that was ran, and that council was comprised of one rep or an alliance lead from the alliances, and we would have suggestions, ideas, we would do things like votes, and the majority of the time, 99% of the time, right, because everyone understood how we were going into the server, right, there was kind of this common denominator understanding about how we would approach certain topics that came up. So the majority of the time, everyone voted in what was going to be the most beneficial for all the players on the server, not just for their alliances, right, or for themselves. And then if there was ever a time that came up where a veto needed to happen, or if I needed to come in and make a decision on something, then I would. Right, and I think that's a great way to run a server, as far as one example of one way that a server can be ran. But anyways, dear God, I feel like I'm ranting about like endgame stuff here on like really big scale levels, so I'm sorry if I'm boring anyone. Jeez. So, as I'm waiting to this, I'm sorry, let me see, what did you ask, Rapid? You said, this is why you don't want whales, because they have everything built in a week and they get bored and attack. So, the thing is like, I think that probably is the case for the most part, in maybe most servers. I can tell you in S8, we got extremely lucky. Like, the big players there, like, Jojo, Shadow can speak to him as well, even Bruner. What's up, Bruner? Oh, I'm sorry, Dre at 821, what's up? Jojo's, like, the coolest guy. He really is. I mean, he's such a cool big spender. He's actually really engaged and involved in the community. And he really understands what the big picture is. He came from Lords Mobile, where he had a high level account there, so he's kind of he's very familiar with Kingdom Builders. It's not like it's his first one. Same thing with Andromeda, right? The number 2 player. Even in that player's case, right? They're very understanding of how the server was built. Like they get the big picture. So I mean, again, we got lucky in that case, right? And even when Shadow was here, right, and he was like number 2 for a while, right? Like, he's a big supporter of it. He gets it. He's done it before, right? So like, that's the thing. In a sense, you do have to get a little lucky, right? But the thing about IK is that even if you're the strongest player, even if you're the number 1 player, right, and like, let's say that person is rogue or whatever, but the number 2 player is like 1,000 power behind the number 1, and that player gets what they're supportive of your vision for the server. It's not the end of the world, right? Like, that's the cool thing, is that you can trade still, right? Like, just because you don't have the number 1 person or the number 1 true power player in the server doesn't mean it's all lost. Right, there are still a good amount of ways that you can combat, a rogue whale or a rogue player. Right. The challenge is when you have a bunch of them, right? Like, where you have like the top 5 or the top 10 are all unified or united, right? And they're all like doing whatever they want. That's when you would then arguably run, I think, into a more kind of dead end situation. So, but outside of that, there are still ways to mitigate. So, and to still kind of turn the situation around. Legend, what's up? Oh, sorry, Rapid, you asked, would you join an old server or new? Sorry, are you asking, like, for the jumper? Like for the jumper account project that we're doing? Is that what you mean? Or just for, like, a jumper account in general? Oops. I'm trying to wave to someone, but it did not work. I can't even spell wave correctly. Cav. Yeah, we'll just burn it. Why not? Oh, sweet. Let's do it on a way to 10. Nice. Buner. Kafka, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Shadow, how's your Ooh La La adventures going? Are people still calling you out for being good? I thought that was so funny what you told me yesterday. You're like, yeah, man, I just started replaying again after like years. This guy's just calling you out.
Yeah, man.
It's funny. Jeez. Sorry, Rapid. You said ooh la la, so toxic. Yeah, man. Rapid said no. If you make a new project, he said I joined halfway through the conversation so I could be on about something else. Oh, yeah. So again, as I mentioned before, right? We are going to do a new server project, or I guess a new jumper project. So I'm actually a lot of the back end stuff on my server is already prepped. So I mean, again, if you or anyone is interested, you could DM me. I can send you a link to my server. But like I was doing some of the channel prepping and content writing last night for because I actually had to like rethink about a lot of stuff because there's just things that have changed in the game with how fast Chronicle 3 is being reached now. I think jumpers are probably a little bit more viable than they were before. I think if people remember before, it would take 2.5 to 4 days, 2.5, 3.5, 4 days, right, before you would hit Chronicle 3, right, where someone who's at Castle 8 could go. Right now, that time frame is a lot faster. Like, where am I at right now? Let's see. I'm at 27. Like, I'll give you an example. So it's, let me see here. So okay, so here's the example. So S27 opened on the 27th, about 3 days ago. And let's see here. Right. So here you go. So Expel Gnomes finished. You can see here, Expel Gnomes finished at, 8 hours? Took 9 hours, almost 9 hours for it to finish, right on the 27th. And number 3 finished at, what is this, completed on the 28th. So it was completed about 29 hours after, right? That's about the average right now. The average, it seems like, is somewhere between 28 and 30 hours, right? Give or take a couple hours, is when servers are completing it. So before, right, that's about 2 days faster than what they were doing before. And I think that's just because of the popularity of the game. More people are downloading it, more people are checking it out, right? Servers are filling up faster now. So, and then I think the fact that they're releasing one server at a time really helps. This was something that Rock did in the beginning, but then they changed and they started releasing 2 servers at a time, and now they've gone back to 1 server at a time. So I really think the 1 server release at a time is the best way to really approach it, because it guarantees that you're going to fill 1 server at a time. Compared to if you release 2 servers at a time, you could have one of the 2 servers that are overloaded and one's underloaded with player activity. So with that in mind, I think it is more viable now, right? Because if I have to see what the numbers are. Like, let me see. This kingdom is almost 3 days old. Let's see what the Lord Power average is right now. Okay. So IW. Oh, interesting. Wow. Everyone's IW. Dude, look at this. Arcdon. Shadow, you see this? That is so funny.
What's up?
Arcdon. Arcdon is there. Oh, hey, look, it's Itza. Itza's in this call, too. Oh, wow, you're in S27. Yeah, no, Arcdon.
Yeah, we.
Is there? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Itza. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we jumped, and so we made alt accounts there, and then we were heavily attacked. But part of the reason why it opened so quickly is we created alt accounts farm accounts just to open it up, and then we prepped for a while to do a jump together as a group, and the server was very hostile to our alts, and as soon as we jumped, it was kind of all over. They all started quitting their houses. All the big spenders quit and joined our house. So, but we prepped for a while for the jump.
Gotcha. Yeah, how many did you have in your group?
I think it was 70 or so.
Okay.
So it was a big group of jumpers.
Gotcha. Yeah. Did you do your jumpers on a new server and you guys just hung out there, or did you actually go and prep at an old server?
They were it was a mix.
Okay.
I jumped from a newer server, but that's why my honor's high. I was moving around. I was level 8, getting attacked and getting a lot of honor. Um, but most people, I think, were from older servers, so they could get gold and things like that. I think the advantage of starting on an older server is you can go farm the gold in the center of the map. Whereas if you're in a newer server, if you're spending a little, start on a newer server, farm some honor, have a little bit of fun, popping around with your level 8 castle getting attacked. But if you're, free to play, probably you want an older server for gold to get your dragon up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that was that was about the conclusion. I guess it's interesting to see what some was. How long did you guys farm for?
You mean to prep for it? Everybody was different, so we kind of just kept growing along the way.
Okay.
We just pulled the trigger. I think some guys prepped for over a month.
Yeah, man. That's about it.
But some of the newer people along the way, we did a test run on 26, and just to make sure we could open up the Chronicles quickly, and we figured 27 looked like a good place, and so it started off pretty hostile, but as soon as our jumpers arrived, it was kind of all over.
Gotcha. I see. So you guys just went in with one alliance.
We went in with one alliance.
Okay.
And, our goal is more towards the server versus server PvP. The initial idea was we were going to go in and just, it's pretty peaceful at this point, obviously, because we're so OP. But many of the other alliances there were real hostile towards us when we first came, attacking our accounts. But we had, no big spenders there because we were all playing free to play to just open up the Chronicles for the jumpers to come in. So it was kind of, we were kind of the punching bags for the first few days. And when our jumpers showed up, the big spenders from the other groups started quitting their guilds and wanting to join us.
Yeah. You guys have the top 13. No, I was saying, sorry, Shadow, no, I was saying Arcdon. Arcdon, I think, was in S6 or S5. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, Arcdon was, and I think Alpha was too. If he keeps the same name. Some of these people,
a lot of them, a lot of them jumped from younger servers.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Alpha looks familiar.
Jokity. Oh, it's Snoke. It's Snoke.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's a few people I recognize. Okay. Yeah, you guys have the top 13 spots, and then it's 31. Okay, that's not bad.
The downside of it was that, we're so OP when we came in, it kind of killed the server in that sense. So,
Yeah, I mean,
this.
Yeah, I mean, there were things you could have done to mitigate that, but the challenge is that when you're only coming in with one server, you guys are already kind of building to like that mega alliance structured server, and I'm always iffy. I'm always iffy on building servers that way. Just because anyone that's below you is basically probably not going to compete in any kind of kingdom-wide or server-wide events. I mean, this is something that happens in every kingdom builder. This is actually something that happened in, it was S11, right, Shadow? It was, I'm forgetting the guy that I was talking to, but there was someone that was asking me for advice on, because they went into S11 and they had, like, everyone that just basically funneled. Because, like, so, oh god, I'm totally going to get into, like, endgame, like, kingdom-wide mechanics here. But, so the way that almost every kingdom builder works is that most players, when they're starting out in a new server, they want to climb the ranks, right? Now that's mainly for players that are not a part of a pre-existing group. So players they'll start an account, right? They'll level it up, they'll be active, but for most of them, they want to try and climb the ranks and to get into higher ranked alliances. For a lot of players, that is how they view kingdom builders. And so, right, and how they approach how they approach them getting something out of it. So, because of that, you will also, in addition to that, which is a side factor, spenders will also try and join higher ranked alliances because in their mind, and this probably applies for a lot of them, if not the majority, in their minds, they're thinking, okay, well, the top alliances have the most spenders, so if they're buying stuff, I want to be an alliance that's also buying stuff so I can get more value out of it, or return on investment. So you have these two mechanics that are basically always, think of it like a pyramid, right? It's like you have everyone that starts out at the base, but then it's like a funnel, and that funnel is always going towards the top. So every server innately, just habitually, off default, is going to be heading in a direction that is going to be something like a mega, like a 1 to 2 mega alliance styled structured hierarchy for your kingdom. The challenge, now I don't want to say this is a bad way of doing a server, because there are servers that are in Rise of Kingdoms that are like in the top 32 Imperium that run their servers like this. A good example is like JWM, for people that are familiar with that server, which is 59. They do it that way, where they'll basically front load like all their strong active players into one alliance, and they'll do that for PvP. For server versus server, kingdom versus kingdom. So there are some servers that do it that way. But when you do that, the I don't want to say the con, but the other side, the after effects of it, is that you will lose activity, and you'll probably lose it faster than servers that are not doing that. And the biggest reasons why is because players want to involve themselves, right? They want to engage in server activity, in events. They want to compete, but there's a thin line here. They want to compete to where they feel like they can win an event at any time. If you take that hope away from people, then people will slowly stop playing. Right, you will. It's like a seed that you've planted, like a cancer that's just slowly growing over time. And I'll give you a good example of this. So if you look at like I don't know if it's like the city expansion or like I guess I could use Contentional Lords as an example, but like the city expansion event, I think, is another good one. Or, sorry, not city expansion. Alliance development. So the alliance development event is one that requires things like donations gathering to be done, and I'm sure they're going to add more in. But the thing is that the amount of donations, like spenders can typically donate more, right? Because sometimes they're willing to spend green gems or premium currency to donate. In addition to that, people that are spending money typically are able to access higher level nodes. They'll usually have a higher lowered EXP level, and they'll also have a higher march that can handle a higher load capacity. Mel Jen Grievous, would you mind muting your mic, please, whenever you're not talking? I'm just getting an echo. So the idea there is, okay, I think I'm good. Awesome, thank you so much. So the idea there is that when you're having all these people that can donate, right, in addition to gathering resources, right, people that are typically in the higher ranked alliances are usually going to have an advantage in these events. And if the power or the amount of points that specific alliances are getting that is just so much higher than others, then your average player is not going to feel the need to invest past what the minimum rewards are for that event. And that is the biggest challenge, right? Or I should say that those are some of the big challenges and obstacles that new servers will face because of the way that kingdom builders are just innately built, and then how the majority of players think when they go into a new server, right? So obviously it's going to be up to you and your alliance to try and mitigate that, so you don't lose a lot of activity, because that's one of, I think, in something like IK, right? I love the migration system being a little bit more favorable, where you can actually migrate to a server earlier. Like in Rise of Kingdoms, you have to wait 5.5 months before you can migrate to someone's server. In IK, you only have to wait 3 months, right? So it's a way shorter window, which I think is fantastic. In addition to that, the thing that will always, the number one thing that I think most servers are always trying to do, because you have to think about it, like when your new server opens up, for those first 3 days, you're getting 100% of every new player that's coming in, right, until they open the next server, right? And that's for new people, and then in addition to external factors like jumpers or other people that are coming in as well. So you have to look at it like you're starting out at 100% player activity. Over time, it then becomes a matter, because you're going to lose activity no matter what, but it becomes a matter of how high is your retention rate? How many players are you able to retain to keep in your server over time? Because those players may benefit you in server versus server. Like, I think Infinity Kingdom is going to be different than how, like, Rise of Kingdoms is for, like, its KVK or its SVS, right? I really truly believe that Infinity Kingdom is going to be a game where every player counts. And for the most part, it does as well in other servers. But I really think it's something that, like as an example, in Rock, when you're going into SVS and KVK, typically there's just not enough room on the KVK map for you to allow every single alliance to come in. Whereas I think because you don't need territory, and part of that is because you need flags. You have to flag and you have to acquire territory and things like that. So there's just not enough resources that would also accommodate you to have multiple alliances. But because that is not how Infinity Kingdom is set up, I actually believe that the server for server is going to play out differently, where it's not going to matter. Like, you're not going to have this finite space, so to speak. Like, you'll actually be able to bring over arguably maybe every active player that you can, which is why it all goes back to that first point. It's so important to set your kingdom up so you can retain as much player activity as possible in the long run.
When you, boss, when you talk about kingdom versus or server versus server, is the assumption that everyone on your server is going to fight everyone on another server? I mean, how do we know that's the way the mechanics going to work? Because I come from Art of Conquest, so that kind of the prequel to ROK. Lilith Games made it as well. Their idea of server versus server was everybody on the server gets merged into a map, but it's still houses within server versus server. So a couple of things that would happen in that game, I mean, it was the top whale dominated, and I love our Infinity Kingdom because you pointed out the top whale doesn't necessarily dominate, and maps would get taken over right away, and it was very difficult in Art of Conquest to play long term. But what ended up happening was they would actually merge servers. So you may be the king of server 27, but in 6 months, all of a sudden server 27 is server 27, 26, 25, and 24. And 6 months later, they get merged again. And it allowed for a little more longevity for those bigger players. I don't know that it was any more healthy. And then the other thing that was really interesting, I see, and we haven't seen this yet because the game's young, but I've seen in Art of Conquest where you have a house that's really strong, it's kind of dominating their realm. They get bored, and so they move their whole house off of their realm and invade another server, and it creates a big clash. I don't know if if that's even something that it can be kind of nasty at times. But if you want war, you have a strong house of active players that could get together and go after something, and everybody can have a war together, kind of thing. So I don't know if that's something we'll see in this game. If they'll either merge servers, have server versus server means everybody's moved to a temporary map for 3 months, which they did in Art of Conquest. You're temporarily at this new map, and then you move back. We'll just have to see how it goes. Unless you have some inside info on that, I'm just not sure, what we'll see there. But I guess the question is, and I think you're absolutely right in everything you're saying. In terms of activity, that the death of the game is, you get too strong, it discourages everybody, it becomes boring. The flip side is you're in a war server where you can't grow, and it's tough there too. So I think everybody, there's something for everybody there. I guess the question is how do we know that server versus server is everybody versus everybody else, and it's on a temporary map, or do we know that yet?
So I mean, the only things that we do know at the moment is that they're creating the map for SVS, and that's just based on the last Facebook announcement. Well, not the last one, but I should say one of the previous Facebook announcements. So we at least know that at the moment. Now, as far as what's going to happen after that, I mean, we don't know, right? Again, people have submitted feedback and suggestions, and I played AOC for a while, And I actually really enjoyed AOC. AOC was probably the first kingdom builder, if not one of the first ones that I actually played, that I enjoyed because I just thought the graphics were visually appealing, and then I thought that the features and the mechanics were actually pretty well done at the time. And then a time after that, I got into Rock. And it's funny because Shadow and I have this conversation a lot because he's played a bunch of games that have had, like, he plays SOS, he plays West Game, right, and they have their own kind of server versus server feature in there. And when I was telling him how Rock works, because he's seen some videos on it too, right? He did like the idea, just because it was a little different. I think the way you explained it with like the server invasions is something that happens in, I don't know if it happens in West Game as well, but I think you said it happens in SOS Shadow. Is that right?
It's most so it's West Game, so you actually get to jump to the other person's server, and they get to jump to yours, and you get points based on so hitting bases, holding the buildings, the government buildings, which there's a bunch, hitting mobs, and getting tiles, hitting people on tiles, so stuff like that. So it's really interesting. The strategy is huge, so execution is also huge. So you have to really kind of prepare for that.
Yeah. So again, I think another good example there with, I think probably for me the biggest thing I like about the way that Rock is set up is because, like, they'll create, like, you have a separate map, and then players can choose if they want to go and participate, right? So it's not like you get forced teleported there. Like, it's all a choice. And the reason I like that is because it helps you weed out the actives from the inactives, right? It doesn't just put everyone on the map and then you have to go off of it. Like, people that teleport there are basically your active people that want to compete and want to participate. So I really like how they have that mechanic set up, where they create a server or a KVK map. Then players can choose if they want to go there, and then you can see how many of the people that chose to go there, right, are actually going to fight. But I just like that you have the choice. It's not something that's forced upon you, so to speak.
They have that in AOC as well. It's called the Island of Drake. It's added, so they've added a bunch. It's developed over the years. So they had a place where, at first you're forced to go once, but then there's prizes for going, and I think they maybe have even developed something new since, like an additional island that you would go to. But it's like a 3-month journey, so you kind of do it for 3 months. The thing that I saw on Facebook about the Illusion Battlefield looks much more like an Alliance versus Alliance cross-server.
It is,
temporary battlefield, and that would be, tend to benefit a strong house, a single strong house. You'll do well in that and get prizes maybe. I mean, that's the way I read that mechanic. And then when I talk about people invading a server, I mean, like, you can do that in this game now, because I think you can. I mean, I don't know if you can. I could, in theory, after a certain time period, couldn't every player on server 16 move down one server to server 15 if they buy the portals?
They can.
After that time frame is up,
yeah, after 90 days is up. So you can. And I mean, that's something that people have talked about as well. But I think that the challenge with that is that more so after the last update. And I'm so sorry. What's up? Felons, what's up? I totally forgot to say hey. Who else? Rays, what's up? Golden God, what's up? So, after the post 1.0 update, and a lot of people who are just starting out to play the game right now probably won't know this, right? Unless you've seen one of my older videos talking about it. Because most people don't even talk about it in the IK room. But one of the biggest things they changed was the way that Alliance technology works. So, before, you could upgrade anything. Like, you could upgrade anything to max with no limits. So what a lot of people did, and this is during the beta servers, right? So the first 8 servers really did this the most, is that, you'd go into, like, your Alliance tech, like I'm showing here on screen, and you would just upgrade your big family. So, like, you would just max upgrade big family, get it to 10 out of 10, right, and you're immediately at 150 player cap. And people were doing this in, like, 2 weeks? Like 2-3 weeks or something like that? It was a few weeks it would take, but that's what people would do, right? So you'd upgrade Big Family, people would save donations, and then the moment Big Family finished researching, you would just have everyone reinvest those donations, right? So you're min-maxing Big Family all the way to 10 out of 10. this would allow for you to get to 150 player capacity as soon as possible. Because of that, you could then, because you're able to get to 150, you're now increasing the overall amount of donations you're doing towards tech every day. Which also meant that you could hit Alliance level 9 faster, which is where you have to hit if you want to get your space teleports. Now, the way that it works after the 1.0 update is that you can only upgrade tech based on your current Alliance level. That now means that you kind of have to, at times, waste your tech investment into other areas, into other technologies that you normally would not have as early as you now have to. It also means that you're stuck at your current Alliance level longer until you hit your next Alliance level based on having a lower amount of average donations. Now, for new players that are coming in, this is just going to be standard for them, right? They're just going to think this is just the way the game is, right? But because of the update, most likely, unless your spenders are just like max donating green gems to your tech, you're probably not going to hit Alliance level 9 by the time migration opens. By the time your migration opens. Like even for us in S8, right, where we were impacted, like a month after or something like that. No, not a month. Like maybe 2 weeks after we got there. Like even our alliance is, I think we're at 8. Yeah. So like our alliance is at 8, and we have the most developed tech shell on S8. Right, we're at 8.6 mil. But but we're at 76 days, right? So we still have whatever that is, 4.5 mil to go. Like that's probably still going to take us maybe 3 weeks, give or take. And I mean that doesn't necessarily mean anything as far as like in the grand scheme of things, as far as for migrators that are coming in. That's really for people that just want to buy spaceports going out. But that's from max activity from being a top alliance, right? If you and you also have to consider that's kind of it's gated in a sense, and it is like that in other games too, where if your alliance has lower activity, it's just going to take you that much longer to get to Alliance level 9, which means that if you're someone who really wants to migrate out, your only option is to purchase, right? You have to go into the shop and purchase with real money to buy the New World Pack. So that's the other thing that you have to think about as well. That factors back into the original question, which is that people can go in and like invade servers. That's why it's a little. I really want to say it's like a little unlikely for that to happen. I think as often as people might think, because you have to spend money. So you're already limiting, right? You have to spend money if you want to do it early. Otherwise, it's just a waiting game, right? For you to get to Alliance level 9, which I would say if you're in an active alliance, yeah, you could probably do it in maybe like 100 days. I think that's probably, I think that's probably going to be somewhat of a rough. I would say like somewhere between 100 and 130 days is when you can expect to hit Alliance level 9 if you're in a top alliance that's active and is doing max donations every day, all day. And then you're probably sprinkling in a little bit of some spender donations. Then yeah, you'll probably hit it around then. But that's the thing to consider is it's just difficult, right? Unless you just have a group of spenders that wants to go in and do that, that's probably a little more realistic. But when it comes to like the free-to-play low spend, it's going to take them longer to eventually do that. But can it be done? Yes. I just don't think it's going to be done. Again, I don't know how it is in like West Game SOS where like they're doing server invasions. I just don't know how cost efficient it is. It just doesn't seem to be that cost efficient. In IK, it's more time efficient. Where it's just a longer waiting game to get to that point to where you could.
Well, the server invasions in West Game that's actually the SVS that we have once a month.
Yeah,
and they give you they give you portals. So like, but you can jump. The cost of jumping compared to the cost of jumping in this game, I thought West Game was expensive. This game is really expensive currently.
In Art of Conquest, some of the players would spend several $1,000s to jump for a server invasion, and you can only now that you can jump backwards. There's a time limit on it, but in this game you could only jump down, so you're not going to move to a low level server if you're if you're on server 30, you're not going to jump down to server 10 because everybody's more developed. So it's probably 5-6 month journey. I think the only value in it is if your server's dead and you're everybody you end up creating a mega house and you're bored. and there could be a war, there's a war server a few servers down, and you feel like you could compete there. That'd be the only value in it, is to go there and to create another power on the server. Usually, if you do that, though, it's kind of like the whole server turns against you usually. So it's just an idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it just depends. Like, if you go into the server and you're not attacking anyone, then yeah, that probably doesn't give anyone a reason to think badly of you. I don't know how your guys are doing it in S27 where you're at right now. If your guys are just going around and attacking whoever they want, that obviously would probably be something that would not make people think too highly of, I think, any group for that matter.
No, we're not attacking people because we're OP. We were attacked, and then we showed up, and everybody quit their alliance and kind of joined.
Can I ask, like, who's the lead for the alliance?
Fish is the guy's name.
Fish, okay. You're an officer?
Yep.
Okay. Have have you guys reached out to any of the other alliance leaders?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did they say?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, when you reached out, like, what did you reach out for? Like, did you just reach out to say, like, hi, we're here? Or did you reach out with a purpose?
Yeah, I think that originally the purpose was, we let people know we were coming, and so we were attacked by a couple groups. And so they were pretty hostile, kind of farming our farmers. And then everybody else was kind of, the server's young, it's only a few days old. So, but everybody else were kind of helping out, just kind of peaceful, laid back, and letting them build and grow. And we're kind of doing our own thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's pros and cons to doing your own thing. I think, it's good because it's like you don't bother anyone, so to speak. But I think at the same time, for how the majority of other alliances view it, it's probably like a big unknown, and I think that's probably the potential worry or fear.
The downside is part of the fun of the game is to have battles, but at this point nobody's going to really mess with us, and we're being peaceful with them because it's there's not really any point. So we're kind of doing our own thing, building towards server versus server. I think it's our only option really at this point. And I've started, in AOC, I remember we did a couple servers where we planned, and just having a group of 50 people planning going into a server is devastatingly powerful, free to play or spenders. But in AOC, you could have, I mean, there were literally people that we played that were like spenders that would make most whales look tiny. I mean, we literally had people that seemed like they spent $200,000, from China and various places where it was just ridiculous. So people that could spend $10,000 got nowhere. And in AOC, it was kind of like the biggest whale dominates. And so, in any case, I've done it a couple times where we went in with a planned group, and anytime you go in with a planned group, it's extremely overpowered. If you have 50 active players, and everybody else is just coming in trying to organize in the first few days. So I don't know, maybe the balance is not having too many people or spread out. I mean, we haven't decided yet. We could end up splitting our house and going to different colors and evening it out. At this point, we just arrived.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say, I guess it depends. I mean, I would say even if you did do that, the challenge is that you've already lost out on the first 24 hours, which for the most part is probably the most crucial, because the first 24 hours of any new server is when you have players that are searching for alliances to fill in. And so even if you did split at this point, the majority of the alliances are already defined, especially that you're 3 days in. I mean, sure, you could, and I mean, it might help, maybe in some areas, but it's just like that initial seeking and searching for alliances has already been filled out at the moment based on how old the server is. But I mean, it could still be worth a try. It's really just that initial push or that initial opportunity that has been lost out already. And I mean, that's the case for any server, for any new server. So. But yeah, man. No, I mean, I definitely wish you the best, man. I mean, like I said, I think it'll be interesting to see how to see how some servers are ran, whether they kind of populate something more like a 1 or 2 mega line style structured server, or if they have like a top 4 that runs it, or if it's multiple. I mean, like I mean, again, as you've played and others have, right? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to run servers. So I think that's always the interesting thing going into any new server or new kingdom, is that there's always the opportunity for something new, whether it's learning or figuring out, or just the way that something is managed. And I think for me, that's always been the exciting part about kingdom builders. So there's just a lot of freedom to exercise.
Yeah, and I think our goal when we went in was, let's go in. I think a lot of the guys watched your channel, kind of saw what you did, and really valued that, and said, let's go in strong, but let's go in and kind of be peaceful. And so when we first went in, we reached out to the other top alliances, and we asked them, hey, do you want, we kind of described what the goal was. They said they were on board. We even talked with some of the people on Discord before we got there, and they agreed to it. So we thought that server was a good home because of that. But when we arrived and started, we got our first city, and then the alliance's number 2 just attacked us right off the bat, and they destroyed our hive. They kicked us out of our city, and we were kind of just cityless while we were farming gnomes. So that was the first 36 hours was them making sure we weren't on the map.
Gotcha.
And so when we showed up, it was like, okay, well, we're going to get a city back. And, their top whale came and started messing with us. And, we kind of fought back, and that was it. He quit his alliance and wanted to join us. So that was kind of, and at that point they started falling apart. So it wasn't like we went in, we're going to go crush everybody. We actually went in, wanting other houses to thrive. We wanted to succeed at having some cities and stuff like that. But, if you look at the map now, it's not like all green. So there's places for people to grow and things like that. It's just the if you look at the top 20 power, then yeah, we're dominating there. But if you look at the map, it's not like we're hoarding everything or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of forced upon us. So those are the cards we dealt. And I don't know if there's a way to avoid that. Maybe you just go in multiple kingdoms. If you guys are putting together a jumper group, maybe that's something you think through. But it's having 60, 70 active players. It's really overpowered going in one group.
Oh yeah, no, it is, man. That is for sure. I think that has always been the case, for sure. And it definitely helps a lot, just because even in the beginning, right, you're getting max helps super fast. So it always helps kind of getting you to that next level tiered threshold before you then actually have to start waiting a little bit for buildings to finish. So, and it just helps with the initial power boost too.
And many of our guys are spenders, so like when I think the advantage of jumping, if you're a moderate spender, is you can buy those cheap bundles and they go a lot farther over time. $90 worth of $5 packs goes a lot farther than just spending $100 on one day. So they're min-max spenders as well. So if somebody's going to dump a little bit in the game, if you have a month prep time and you are spending $20 a day, that $20 a day goes very far over a period of a month. And when you do jump, you're sitting there with rushes, you're sitting there with a lot of stuff. It can be really overpowered.
Oh yeah. Oh no, for sure.
Which is you're overpowered, and there's not as much fighting and things like that. Whereas if you come in and you're a little weaker, people like to attack you and stuff like that, and you gain honor and things like that. And so, you know, in hindsight, I'd probably, if somebody's thinking about doing it, spending a little bit and then jumping, I think you're going to have more fun, not going all out, just kind of taking your time with it. Maybe save some stuff so you're competitive, so you're not bullied by the top guys, but don't try to be that top guy, because it's going to be more lonely up there than it is just being a mid-level player that can move around and get in scuffles with people. So just because really, I mean, if your whole goal is just to kingdom build and not fight, then I'm sure it's different. But if you want to have fight, get honor and fight people and stuff like that, it's not always good to be the top guy.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I think it's a challenge for any server to try and figure out what's the most optimum thing, especially when you're coming in. So it can just be viewed, and I think hopefully mitigated. I think for me, when I go into a server, it's always about, I think probably Shadow as well probably thinks the same thing. Like when anytime you go into a new server, it's all about, it's really just all about activity retention. Like the more active players you keep, the better you're going to be, arguably in the long run. And that's just because you're always going to have drop off. Like every server is going to have that no matter what. But I think the one thing is, I think try maybe just not to have it be like server 5 or 11, to an extent. If you have aspirations to last a long time, like Shadow can tell you how fun server 5 is. Tell us, Shadow, how fun is it? Oh, he's not here. He must have stepped away. But
Are they war servers, or
they are, yeah. So it's like,
and are they surviving though? Are they alive or dead, or is it
I mean,
it's really
two alliances basically right now, and I mean they're both at max capacity, but they don't have 100% activity in the alliances. It's probably like the people that actually actively fight, it's maybe half of each. They probably have, honestly, they might have like 150, maybe 150 like truly active players. I mean, and that's like a conservative estimate. It could be less than that. But like that's how theirs is set up. Like everyone else has either just left, they moved on, they stopped playing, or they just lowered activity. Because like that's all they do on that server now. Like they just fight and hit everyone. And don't get me wrong, it's that's cool. If that's what they're doing, but it's like every day they're just always constantly taking cities. So it's like one city gets capped, one gets overcapped, one's defended, one's this, and sure, that might be fun, but over time, I think any competent veteran player that has played Kingdom Builders for a while and that understands what the end goal is in these kinds of games, whether as it being like a server versus server or kingdom versus kingdom, you would know that having constant civil war is just not good for your server. It's not good for your development. It stunts your progression, and then you lose activity because of it. Like in S8, we probably still have, God, if I really had to think about it, we probably still have, I don't know, 500 to 600 active players amongst. You might be more than that. I mean, I think that's a low estimate, but I would say somewhere around 500 to 600 like truly active players that are still playing and progressing their accounts. Then we probably have like 300 people that are probably like actively like doing PvP and fighting in events and things like that when those come up. So like the numbers are still good based on how old the server is. And if you compare our server with servers 1 through 7, we have the most activity. So, based on how far along the server is. And I think that we've probably set a standard for how much activity we've been able to retain over a period of time versus any other servers that are probably going to get to that point, or that are looking for like a benchmark to hit when their server gets to a certain point. But even then, we still didn't do the best job that we could have, right? Like, yeah, sure, we did a great job coming in, but even when I look back at it in hindsight, there's still a lot of areas of improvement that, you know, if I ever did another project like I'm doing now, right, that I'll look to do this time around compared to that time around. And that was mainly just because of limitations that were unavoidable. For example, S8 we knew was going to be the last beta server. By the time we decided that we wanted to leave S6 to go to S8, we were already on a tight window. I think we had like a week and a half to prep, which is not enough time for any kind of project. But you know, we did what we did because we figured this is what we had to work with, and we wanted to try and see what the beta server would have advantage-wise. And it's good that we did it at the time we did, because we were able to get in before the 1.0 update came out, which changed the way that the alliance levels were ranking, right? So anyone who's in like servers 1 through 8, or really more so 1 through 7, right, they really had a full opportunity to develop their alliances and get and get to that 150 cap, so they can basically speed through all the other researchers that much faster, and they're going to be able to hit max tech. They'll be able to have max tech alliances way faster than any of the alliances in 8 and newer. So, you know, there's also those implications. That's why if you were able to really hit a home run in one of the beta servers, right, you could just be set up so well for like KVK and SVS, and that's basically what our plan was for why we went into it. You know, oh man, I feel like Bobby Fischer sometimes. You know, just thinking like 50 moves ahead. But you know, sometimes that's what you have to do. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see this time around. I'm still super excited about the project now, because when we did S8, there was only a couple thousand people in the Discord. They didn't even have a recruitment room, recruiting channel, or like a jumper channel. Like, those are things we asked them to add. So it's been really cool to see how receptive the IK team has been so far, and with a lot of the improvements they're making. So, but yeah, man, you know, on to the next project. Planchful Pandog, what's up? Oh gosh, who else is coming here? Raphael, what's up? Shank, what's up? Ski Mask, what's up? Yeah, for anyone new that's joining, we're just hanging out right now. Thinking the new server is going to pop soon. Oh, maybe it just did. Did I miss it? Oh, yeah, see, there we go, 10:15. Oh, nice. All right, let's see if I can finish boosting this real quick, and we can make a new account, so we can go check out S28.
So, boss, what are you gonna do with that one? Are you gonna keep that as a jumper, or are you gonna go ahead and move to an older server? Like, what do you plan on doing now?
I don't know yet. I'll be honest. I still think there's better value in making an account in an older server, but picking the right server based on, because like this thing, it's not just picking an old server. It's picking the old server, right? That where the and
so
then
you haven't researched it enough, like 1 through 4. You haven't really took a look at yet.
No, I just started. Like, I just started last night. I was looking a little bit. I have to go. I'm gonna go and look through servers 1 through. I'll probably look 1 through 8, and then see. Because it's not just about picking an old server. You want to, you know, I know, as I mentioned before, you want to look at like those additional chronicles, like 13, 16.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't 1 through 8, obviously, because you'd want to skip 5, but like maybe like 1 through 4, and then maybe 6 or 7.
yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But the reason I say that is because I need to look at which factions won Chronicle 13, 16, and 19, because that's the faction you're going to want to join to get those additional rewards. Because we tested it. Yeah. My buddy Manic tested it, where he joined SS to see if he would get the additional rewards, and he didn't. So that means that you have to, you know, you're basically having to figure it out from that. So basically, once I do that, which I'll do that, that might only take me 30 minutes to do. Once I figure that out, then I'll come out with a list for anyone that wants to jump with us on our project, and I'll let people know these are the servers you can start creating an account in now, like today, and I'll probably make that announcement today as well, that they can start prepping. And then I've already written out like what to do for the jumper too. Like, it took me like 40 minutes last night. I was like thinking about it, like what's everything you need to do. on your account from day one if you're going to make a jumper and after you land in this kingdom. So I was writing all of that out. I have that I have like a few channels that are hidden right now that I have to publicize after I make the announcement on the server. But yeah, I just have to do the research first for which servers would be ideal to jump to. But most likely, the short answer there is yeah, I'm probably just going to make an account on an older server. Just mainly so you can get all the Chronicle achievements and you can boost your VIP early, and it just gives you access to more stuff. So, because you can have, you can take a group of 20 or 30 people, right? And if everyone's jumping to certain servers, you can make an alliance, or you can just join. Like that's the thing on every old server, there's always open alliances. So you can just have everyone load into an open alliance. You save the gems, don't have to create one, and then there you go with all your helps, right? So it's an easy fix. It just has to be coordinated. But yeah, that was a mouthful. Yeah, long story short, that's the plan. So, let's see. Can I upgrade this? Nice. Alright, cool. Let me do this, and then we're going to make a new account. We'll have hour 10. Sweet. Okay, let me just build the arena, and then we're good. Yeah, Greycon, what's up? Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, just so you know, again, for anyone that's joining, if you want to ask any questions, you are more than welcome to. We're using the common room chat on the server to talk in. So if you're just in a position where you can't talk, then feel free to text and use that. So, yeah. Also, if anyone is interested in joining a new server/jumper project, I know some people have been asking me about that. We are starting a new one, and then in addition to that, yes, I am leaving S8. So if anyone's interested in that, you're more than welcome to send me a DM. I can send you a link to our Discord server, where we're probably going to start doing our prep today. Felons said, show the rankings for S8. Okay, show some rankings. I don't know what you want to look at. We'll go true power. So, yeah, this is true power for the top 10. And then, where's Lord power? This is Lord power for the top 10. Yeah. Are you going to add new channels on your current server? Yes. Yeah. So I'll probably be adding a new category on the server, and the category will just be like the iCage jump category. So, S8's been open for 76 days. So, okay, cool. Ooh, nice. I'm done with this account now. Sweet. Time to make an S28. Ooh, look at this. Everyone gets some inside information, how Boss Nasty has a level 11 account in every server. It's my style. But yeah, Pirate, that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, I'll probably have a different category, and then I'm going to have basically what I'm going to do is like I'm probably going to create like an additional assignment role that's within the Infinity Kingdom category. So as long as you have the Infinity Kingdom tag on the server, I'll ping everyone after I finish. It's only going to take me like 10 minutes to make some channels, do some bot assignments, and then write up some content. Or I think I have like one more thing I actually have to write. What am I doing on this? Oopsies. Oh, I didn't go all the way down, that's why. Create new character, 28. Awesome. Cool, this server just opened up like, what, 30 minutes ago? Yeah, Shadow, come play S28 with me. Yeah. Yo, funny story, on S27, on my third 9 pull, I unlocked Cleo.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I bet you like, man, I wish this was my jumper.
Yeah, man. No.
I'd be like, I'm starting to change my mind. I think 27 will be the jumper. No reason. No reason at all.
Yeah, nothing obvious. So, yeah, man. I guess just watch.
Can we just see your models real quick? Oh, you have Yoshi, Harold, you have
like, kind of can't. Yeah.
And Gilga. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Funny stuff. Sorry. Felons asked how long. Oh yeah, sorry. 76 days. Boss, I have a big day out. Which talent should I start getting or leveling up for my first team? I have 30k shards. I've saved. I would say focus on maxing your skills first. We actually just did a value comparison earlier in the town hall, and you actually get a lot better value off maxing skills than you do investing for secondary skills. So I would say wait until you get your primary march, if not all your marches, max skilled. For the immortals, you're actually going to use endgame before you consider investing in any tower or knowledge skills. And again, as I've always said, that's specifically for free to play, low spend. If you're mid high spend, then you can decide if you want to, because you probably have the opportunity to use green gems in the market, which would save you on some purples. Immortals, let's do some pulls. Yes, of course. Pirates like I want access. Yeah, man. Yeah. I think you have the Infinity Kingdom tag. So as long as you've clicked that button, you have the tag. You'll get an update. So. Let's see here. You're welcome. You're welcome. Nice. Yeah, where am I approaching here? So I'm almost. Oh wow, we're almost 2 hours into this. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a little bit longer on this one. I'll just because I have to also go do some real life stuff, which is important, and I also have to make another YouTube video. So. Shadow, that's what you should do with us, bro. You should just get into the jumper hype. We'll just go to the same server.
I take the jumper stuff way too serious, dude. I'll sit there and I'll do the math on what I'll sit there until I have enough gold to max out at least 2 matches full of dragons, and then like everything to go to 40 straight ahead.
There you go.
Like everything.
Dude, yeah,
Yeah,
you
like,
mean Ass can do it.
Like 6 months.
You mean Ass?
I did in West, dude, and like going into a server and like max building on day 1 is absolutely hilarious and terrifying at the same time.
Oh.
And so it's fun.
Dude. Yeah. But yeah, man. Well,
because I might just sit there.
You should. Well,
like
we haven't done that before. That'd be something new for you.
If something we could do was like that, and that's why the old server would be great, because you can sit there and I'm not like I don't know what's going on with the COR, if like they actually made that goal change or not.
Yeah.
But
no, they did.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
Well,
but you're still making a lot more gold than like you would get over on.
Yeah,
let's just say a newspaper anyway.
You could.
So.
You could. You would just have to time it out. Like you'd have to go into the research to see which CORs are coming up. This is the earliest, and then also which factions.
Who's gonna win? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it takes a little bit of research, but once you know that, then yeah. But the problem is like if everyone loads there, then and you also have to factor in that. You also have to factor in like, will the top alliance or the top alliances let you farm gold, right? They might just hit you if it's just some noob account, right? That's sending farmers there. So like so like I said, I take like COR. I'm not going to go to a server for COR because I already know that, anyone who's still actively playing, you may not have a high chance to actually farm. So I mean, you could. It just depends on how hostile they are.
But I mean, that's part of the research as well, right? So like when you're researching, you kind of can factor that in and take a look at everything, all angles.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that today, and then I'll probably make an announcement on the server.
Let me know, dude. Like I'm leaning towards like an older server. If I do it, like I would just start off as like free to play. And
do it exactly.
Because
you do it with us.
There's no real benefit of really, because you can't really get the packs anyway until you move to the new server.
Exactly.
Because they haven't. You'd think they would implement that mechanic that I mentioned to them, like I don't know, a zillion times.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
it's slow.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Yeah. Well, I mean, they are coming out with whenever Charles is coming back. When does he come back?
No. But it's like, remember how you did Helen? Yeah, you should do that with everyone. Okay, thanks.
Do that with everyone. Oh man, I have to see. When did they announce this? Didn't they put? Oh, breaking news. Yeah. Oh, he already passed. He already passed. It was March 26th through the 28th.
He's done. Yeah.
Yeah, that he came back. I mean, I didn't need it anyway, so that's probably why I didn't pay too close attention.
I'm hoping that window went well, because I still feel like they, that window was a test phase just to see like how many purchases and how much money they can make from it. And like, as long as that went well, I'm pretty sure we'll see Genghis next month.
Yeah.
Would be my guess at some point. Maybe towards the end of the month, maybe around the same time.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably, if that fails well, they'll probably do Baldwin, and then they'll just cycle them, and that's great. Like, that's still a good thing. That's not a bad thing. It's really good for the community. It's good for the game, and it's good for the company because they're making a lot of extra money.
Dude, for real. Let me join the Lions here. Destro, what's up? Welcome. Nubex, welcome. Right when I called out Destro, he left. Don't be shy. Raichu, what's up, man? Welcome. Tiramon, what's up?
Ok. On s'embête plus.
Nude IW. Immortal Warriors. Yo! Wow, my god, red. Cool. Oh, let's see. Let's see what the power is. This server just opened. Interesting. They already have some power. I wonder if this is a jumper group. No, it's not. I thought it was. Yeah, because they would all probably be at the same level. Sweet! That means I'm in a really active alliance and we're going to get some max helps. Sorry, Jesse, you said Pirate's like too lazy, I'll just buy my way. Yeah, well, that's the thing, dude. Like, I think that's why it's so deadly. Oh, I don't know if I say deadly, but I think there's so much of a big advantage if you're spending on a jumper account. Going into a new server, right, when you're ready. Because that's the thing we talked about before. Like, if you really want to do it, right, you could make a jumper and just max buy everything all day, right, and do that for like 2 or 3 weeks, and you'll just be so far ahead when you land in the new server.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, think about jumping, sitting in some place where you're winning COR with this faction for like just 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months of like the best packs. You're just sitting there and just taking advantage of. Like,
Dude, yeah, you could probably get to like a mil power in that time, just fucking day one.
yeah, like that's how I would do it, dude. I would sit there and just roll the jumper for a while and then just bring it over when I'm.
Yeah.
I mean, but you could do it free to play as well and not really have to spend as much that way. Like, it's not like.
Yeah,
I still feel like you can.
I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I mean, I think based on what I think, if you look at how S8 went, right, we didn't do any of that. We just went in brand fresh new. I mean, it's fine to do it that way too. But I think the reason we did that is just because it wasn't viable to do it back then, as it is more viable as it is now. Healing. Sorry. He said, sorry, Aether said, is there a dragon upgrade spreadsheet for gold? I'm not sure. AP might have made one. I'm not sure. If it is, check the pins. Check the pins on the questions information channel. There could be one there. Sorry, Aether said, I got 21 Empress Womb Skulls from COR Top Alliance, ending in 5,100 gems in chests. Is it worth going on a COR server before it ends for the free 30k Valor Marks? I would say yes, because I'm pretty sure those stay with you. We did confirm that COR Valor Marks do stay in your inventory. It's just hidden until the next COR starts, so you don't lose out on them. So I would say if you're doing a jumper and you're able to, then yeah, sure. There's no harm. Boss, you know you want that builder. Oh, the $5. Yeah, I'll probably do the $5 one on the jumper after I figure out what server is most ideal to maximize on rewards. Has anyone tried jumping a castle 8 with a free teleport, then buying another teleport and jumping again? Yeah, that's not possible. Just because you only get a free one, you can't buy the extra teleports. After that, it just turns into the space teleports. So, I mean, you technically could still do it, but you would have to go to a server that was 90 days old. So, yeah, you only get one free jump to a new server. So.
Keep an eye on that guy.
keep an eye on that guy. Yeah, man. Trying to cheat the system.
You know, I didn't even have to look. I knew it was app.
What was that? Yeah.
Verified. Confirmed.
Confirmed. It was ask. That's funny. It's so nice getting max helps the moment you go in. It's just a matter of how fast can I click now. Twice. Well, I mean, so like what rewards? You can't get you mean like COR rewards? So the only rewards that you can actually get that reset is the 7-day. And that's the 7-day sign-in reward. That will reset. So you can get that twice. Hell, an event doesn't reset. It just transfers and stacks your current progress. If you want to double spend the same day, you could. Right. So like if you max by 1 day before you jump, you can do it again in the new server.
Yeah, and also holiday packs reset as well.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So like that's the thing. If you jump during a holiday or some kind of a seasonal event, then yeah, those will reset as well. I don't know if those are really like deal breaking. Like you need those. I think it's probably more. I think it's more worth just if you're just gonna buy like bigger packs and like let's just say you wanted to double up on. I don't know, like any of like the 99 packs. But most likely they probably wouldn't be available in the older server anyways if you're starting out, so you probably would really only be able to do it in a new server there, like if you're doing Charles or one of the other ones, then yeah, you could. So, but if you're spending that much, it probably doesn't matter, like you getting an extra $99 pack.
$99 packs like 99 cents. It's fine.
$99 packs. Yeah. That's funny. Quarry, yeah, man. I'm just gonna keep clicking. Look at this, dude. Look at this. Look how fast these helps are coming. This is so sexy. That's what I'm talking about. It's nice, man. It is nice.
I shut your stream down like much earlier. I don't know.
What?
I said I haven't been watching your stream in a while.
Oh, wow. Hurts my feelings.
I do what I can.
Just a bit. Just a bit. Cool. What a gentleman. Oh my god, how am I stuck on resources? What kind of world is this?
World.
Special bundles, where's that free one? There it is. Nice. Ooh, wow, that was a full pull. Oh my god, that was pretty sick. I didn't see who it actually was though, but it was still a nice pull. Inca, what's up, man? Welcome. Alright, guys. I think I am probably going to be hopping off here now. What am I at right now for the recording? Let's see. We've been here for 2 hours and 5 minutes. Yeah, I think 2 hours is about kind of where I want to leave it for the VOD when I upload, so it's not too long, even though 2 hours is already a good amount of time. But yeah, I guess the last thing I'll just say, man, is I appreciate everyone tuning in. You know, I know we always try and do these on Tuesdays, you know, just kind of community town hall events where we just kind of talk about the game. You know, we'll play a new account. You know, we'll answer any questions, whether it be for new or veteran players, you know, and just try and have it be a fun community, engaging time or moment. And so, you know, the last thing as well is that if anyone is interested in, you know, making a new account or doing a jumper, if you're interested in the project that we're doing, you know, you're more than welcome to send me a DM. I can always shoot you a Discord invite if you like. And I think that's probably where I am gonna end it, so I can go get some life stuff done. But I will catch everyone later, man. As always, appreciate everyone tuning in. Hope everyone has a good rest of your day, whether it's a morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're at.